that way of playing, it's only for one reason, is to win.
You want to play the Champions League? Play to play the Champions League!
And that's what we wanted. Don't allow them to breathe and to really feel the pressure right from the beginning.
Because that's the f***ing standard. Because you come here and know you f***ing lose. It's nowhere near, guys.
You have to dominate absolutely every aspect of the game.
When you lose the ball, you run, float, you lose the ball, and then and you walk, run.
Right now, the feeling around North London is unreal, cause Arsenal are cooking.
History makers! Arsenal are back in a Champions League final, and the Gunners are heading to Budapest.
The way they got to the Champions League final felt like something out of a movie.
This team have got the capability of, if they can win it, they'll be invincible in the Champions League. If they can win that and win the Premier League, and that team, the invincible team, as great as they were with their individuals, this team will surpass them.
Martinelli goes, Neuer's out of his goal. Martinelli should be in here. This will be 3 for Arsenal. And Martinelli has scored.
And Gyökeres will go for goal, and Gyökeres will curl it home. Arsenal's marksman hits the target in Milan.
But they can't put the right set boots on.
Here's Etta on the turn! Oh my goodness me! Etta announces himself to Europe.
Their whole run across all the different competitions has been special. From the first game of the league phase all the way to the final whistle against Atletico Madrid in the semi-final, this team has carried the hopes of fans who have been waiting so long for this moment.
It's so good after so many years to give that joy back to them and see that pride in their eyes is beautiful to watch.
There have been so many big moments this season, from Bukayo Saka scoring the goal that finally broke Atletico's defense at the Emirates.
Leandro Trossard, and tapped in by Bukayo Saka. Arsenal have liftoff in the semi-final second leg.
To Max Dowman's run versus Everton.
Can run clear, and Dowman has Martinelli with him. Dowman's going to go alone.
He's going to do it.
Max steps in forward.
To Kai Havertz's late winner versus Sporting.
Away from Katamo, that's a clever pass, looking for Kai Havertz! Arsenal lead in the quarterfinals.
Arsenal's season has been a story on its own.
They are now 2 games away from winning the double of, the Champions League and the Premier League. The Champions League final, obviously, but if they beat West Ham at the weekend, they'll win the Premier League. It'll be all over. So that's how close they are right now.
I am not the biggest fan of the way that Arsenal play football. I pretty much mock them in every single video. But we have to give credit where credit is due. They finished top of the league phase, winning all 8 games. They went to places like the San Siro and beat Inter Milan 3-1, and then handled Bayern Munich 3-1 at home. This isn't the old Arsenal anymore. Yes, they don't play as beautiful as they did under Arsene Wenger, but on the other hand, you cannot bully these guys anymore. They are athletic, physical, and a nightmare to break down. What makes their run feel so special, especially in the Champions League, is the history behind it. The last time Arsenal reached a Champions League final was back in 2006. It was the first time Arsenal ever made a Champions League final, and it's still one of the most memorable moments in the club's history. Under Arsene Wenger, the team was coming out of the Invincibles era, but they still had some elite quality. On their day, they could beat anyone. Their run was built on the exact same thing that got them to the 2026 final, and that's their defending. Arsenal just refused to concede. They set a Champions League record at the time with 10 straight clean sheets, and went 995 minutes without letting in a goal. And this wasn't just against weak teams, if you can even call them that, in the Champions League. They knocked out Real Madrid, a stacked Juve side, and a very dangerous Villarreal team. It all started at the Bernabeu, where no English team had won before. Then Thierry Henry produced one of the greatest moments in Champions League history.
Here's Henry getting cleared. It's Thierry Henry. He scored. He scored for Arsenal in the Bernabeu.
Then came the game against Juventus, and there was a bit of extra tension in this one because Patrick Vieira had just left Arsenal to join Juventus. It felt like a passing of the torch moment, with an 18-year-old Cesc Fabregas going up against his former captain. Fabregas was incredible. He scored one and set up another for Henry in a 2-0 win. The semi-final against Villarreal was way more stressful. Arsenal won the first leg 1-0, but in the second leg, everything came down to the final minutes. Jens Lehmann stepped up and saved a penalty from Riquelme, sending Arsenal to the final.
Riquelme que dispara.
Then came the final in Paris against Barcelona. Arsenal started well, but everything changed early when Lehmann was sent off after a foul on Samuel Eto'o. Now, even with 10 men, Arsenal somehow took the lead when Sol Campbell scored a header from a Fabregas free kick.
Henry. George Campbell! Sol Campbell for Arsenal!
They held on for a very long time, but eventually being down to 10 men caught up to them. Henrik Larsson came off the bench and changed the game, setting up Eto'o for the equalizer and then assisting Giuliano Belletti for the winner. Arsenal lost 2-1 and it was a brutal way to end what had been such an incredible run.
All the time you talk about Ronaldinho and everything, but I didn't see him today.
After the high of 2006, Arsenal went on a long stretch where they were always in the Champions League, but never really close to actually winning it. They qualified for 19 straight seasons, which shows how consistent they were. It's funny, back then, Arsenal were mocked for consistently finishing 4th. Yet nowadays, making Champions League football is seen as a reward on its own. Now, although they made it to the Champions League a lot, going deep in the competition became more and more difficult. From 2007 to 2010, they had some real chances, but they never made much of it. In the 2006-2007 season, Arsenal were knocked out early by PSV Eindhoven, which was a big surprise considering the talent they still had. The next season felt more promising. They went to the San Siro and beat AC Milan, with Cesc Fabregas scoring a huge long-range goal.
Ambitious effort, it's in! Oh, that'll do it!
But just when it looked like they could go all the way, they lost to Liverpool in a chaotic game at Anfield. This match is still remembered for Theo Walcott running the length of the pitch to set up a goal, only for the Gunners to concede a penalty right after. In the 2008-2009 season, they made another strong run, reaching the semi-finals. They got past Roma in a tense penalty shootout, but then ran into Manchester United. And no, this wasn't like the Manchester United teams that we've seen in the past few years. These guys actually had real quality. Cristiano Ronaldo dominated that tie, and Arsenal lost 4-1 on aggregate.
Too far for Ronaldo to think about it. Oh! Absolutely sensational! Ronaldo's getting up with him. Rooney has found Ronaldo. How about that? How about that?
A year later, in the 2009-2010, they got a brutal reminder of just how difficult this competition is. Lord Bendtner scored a hat-trick against Porto to get Arsenal into the quarterfinals. But then, they faced Lionel Messi, and he scored 4 goals in one game to knock them out.
It's Lionel Messi. And Messi steps up to the plate just when Barcelona needed him most. And surprisingly, Pedro rescues it. Messi! Lionel Messi, could this be the hat-trick before half-time? Oh, brilliant! An audacious chip from the magical Lionel Messi. They're trying to contain him, but it's an impossible task. This man is just unstoppable.
Then came the toughest period from 2011 to 2017. People call it the round of 16 curse, because for 7 straight seasons, Arsenal could not get past that round of the competition. In the 2010-2011 season, they actually beat Barcelona 2-1 at home, which was massive because this was the best Barcelona team ever. But in the second leg, Robin van Persie got sent off in a strange moment for kicking the ball after the whistle. It was one of the sketchiest decisions we've ever seen. It's why people referred to Barcelona as UEFA-lona during that period. When you combine a sketchy red card with Messi being an alien, you get Barcelona going through. The next year was even worse. They lost 4-0 to AC Milan in the first leg. Now, they nearly pulled off a miracle comeback with a 3-0 win at home, but it wasn't enough. In 2013 and 2014, they got unlucky in the sense that they kept running into Bayern Munich, who at the time were by far and away one of the best teams in Europe. In 2013, Arsenal actually won 2-0 away in Munich, but still went out on away goals. You guys remember away goals? Let me know in the comments if you actually miss it, or you think UEFA did a good job removing it. In 2014, a red card for Szczesny in the first leg basically ended their chances early. The 2014-2015 season might have been the most frustrating of them all. Arsenal were clear favorites against AS Monaco, but somehow lost 3-1 at home. They won 2-0 away, but again, it wasn't enough. Then in the 2015-2016 season, they faced Barcelona again. This time, they had their famous front three, Messi, Suarez, and Neymar. So naturally, Arsenal were knocked out again. Everything hit its lowest point in the 2016-2017 season. Arsenal were destroyed 10-2 on aggregate by Bayern, losing 5-1 in both legs. I mean, these guys were spanked so hard their butt looked like the Japanese flag. That result really showed the gap between Arsenal and Europe's elite at the time. It was also the last time they played in the Champions League for 6 years. That whole period was tough. Arsenal were just never able to take that next step. And that's why this new run feels so different, because people forget quickly how poor Arsenal used to be in this competition, how far they used to be from ever making it to the final again. From 2018 to 2023, Arsenal weren't even in the Champions League anymore. They went down all the way to the Europa League and were trying to rebuild. There were a few moments where it felt like they might be getting back, but things never fully clicked. In 2019, under Unai Emery, also known as Severus Snape from Harry Potter, they made it all the way to the Europa League final. It looked like a real chance to return to the top, but they were bent over and spanked by Chelsea.
So they just fell apart, didn't they?
There were some other tough exits too. They lost to Atletico Madrid in 2018 and then got knocked out by Olympiacos in 2020 in what was a very shocking defeat. Then they fell short against Villarreal in 2021, who ironically were managed by Unai Emery himself. When Mikel Arteta first came in, he kept talking about the process, and in the beginning, a lot of fans were confused.
I think in the future, when everything comes to normality and we are able to work the way it's needed to work with some stability, I think this project is going to go bang.
But over time, you could see the progress. The team got younger, more physical, and they started to play with a clear identity. By 2023, it finally paid off. Arsenal finished second in the Premier League and secured their return to the Champions League. After years of frustration, they were finally back to where they felt like they belonged. And that set the foundation for everything that we're seeing now. By 2024 and 2025, you could really see Arsenal getting comfortable in the Champions League again. Like, not only were these guys back, they were actually competing with the best teams out there. In the 2023-2024 season, Arsenal topped their group and even smashed Lyon 6-0 in one of their best performances that year. The biggest moment though was finally getting past the round of 16. They beat Porto on penalties, ending years of frustration.
Galeno, saved by David Raya! And the Gunners go into the Champions League quarter-final.
In the quarterfinals, they faced Bayern Munich and actually pushed them very close, but ended up going out in a tight tie. Then in the 2024-2025 season, they took another step forward. Arsenal reached the semi-finals for the first time in 16 years. One of their best performances was a huge 7-1 win over PSV. Then of course you have them winning again at the Bernabeu against Real Madrid just 19 years later.
Marino, and it goes to Bukayo Saka, lifts it over the goalkeeper and scores!
Arsenal sail through to the semi-final in style.
But unfortunately, once again, these guys fell short, this time losing to Paris Saint-Germain in the semi-final. It was a disappointing loss, but hey, PSG were the best team in the world. They ended up slapping Inter Milan in the final, winning 5-0. So there was no shame in losing to the team that dominated everybody else. More importantly, even losing in the semis was huge progress. Because remember, Arsenal used to be a team that struggled to just get past the first knockout round. Now, they were one of the best teams in Europe. That brings us to the 2025-2026 run. Arsenal came into the season with one of the best squads in the world and a lot of pressure. They were now deep in the Arteta project, both in time spent and money spent. The fans wanted to see better results, and boy, did Arsenal deliver. The team is confident, mature, and they control games in a way that we haven't really seen since the days of Patrick Vieira and Thierry Henry. Arsenal absolutely dominated the league phase again. They finished first with 24 points from 8 games, winning every single match. They started strong with a 2-0 win away at Athletic Club, then beat Olympiacos 2-0 at home with goals from Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka.
Arsenal were great. Arsenal got the job done again. They suffocated them.
Then they destroyed Atletico Madrid 4-0. Gyökeres scored twice and completely overwhelmed their defense. After that, they just kept rolling. 3-0 away win at Slavia Praha. Then came a huge 3-1 win over Bayern Munich. At times, both teams were undefeated, just rolling through everybody in their path in their respective leagues. It was supposed to be a battle between two giants, and it was supposed to be Arsenal's first real test in the competition, and they didn't disappoint.
Saka plays one in, and the header comes in, and it's a goal for Timber. Calafiori drills it across, and it's in! Martinelli goes, Neuer's out of his goal. Martinelli should be in here. This will be 3 for Arsenal. And Martinelli has scored.
Arsenal are the best team in Europe right now. The only thing that we said before the game, and the same with with Bayern Munich, but we're saying it more about Arsenal because they've just beaten Bayern Munich well.
They also had a dominant 3-0 away win against Club Brugge, where None Madueke scored twice. I'm sorry, but if you're letting Madueke score a brace on you, it might be time to disband the team. One of their best performances of the season came at the San Siro, where they beat Inter Milan 3-1. Gabriel Jesus turned into R9 and scored twice, stunning the home crowd. Then even in a tighter game against Kirat, they still found a way to win and finished the league phase perfectly. In the knockout rounds, things got tougher, but Arsenal showed another side of their game. Against Bayer Leverkusen in the round of 16, they drew 1-1 away and then won 2-0 at home. The quarterfinal against Sporting was even tighter. A 1-0 win away and a 0-0 draw at home showed how solid they had become defensively. Again, very ugly football, but they got the result that was needed. Then came the semi-final against Atletico Madrid. After a 1-1 draw in Spain, where both goals came from the penalty spot, the second leg of the Emirates was going to decide it all. Arsenal controlled 68% of the ball and dominated the game. I was going to make a joke about how Arteta versus Simeone was peak haram ball, terrorist ball, that it was an eyesore compared to the PSG versus Bayern semi-final, but honestly, what can we expect from Arsenal? They held on to the ball because Atletico just had no urgency to attack. I mean, these guys put everybody, including Simeone and the water boy, behind the ball. If they had gone any deeper into their own half, they would have been in the stands. Right before halftime, Gyökeres sent in a cross that ended up at the feet of Leandro Trossard, whose shot was saved, but Saka was right there to finish the rebound and score the goal that sent Arsenal through. Because the second half was all about defending. Arsenal stayed calm and saw the game out, winning 1-0 on the night and 2-1 on aggregate. Arsenal might not have the most flashy attackers, but their run to the Champions League final had some great heroes along the way. Martinelli led the team in goals in the competition. Gyökeres got a lot of hate, but he did his job, bullying center backs and getting goals when needed. Declan Rice was the engine in the midfield, keeping everything balanced, while David Raya was solid in goal, helping the team rack up clean sheets.
It's a long journey, looking back to those days at Southport, 2014. It's incredible. I'm really proud of myself for the way I did my career and reaching the Champions League final after all those years and hard work. Is very proud of myself, and I cannot be more grateful, to be fair.
This Arsenal team is on the verge of something special. Yes, they don't play the tiki-taka liquid football they used to under Wenger, but I think most Arsenal fans, in fact all of them, are willing to make the sacrifice, the trade-off of giving up pretty football but winning the biggest games under the brightest lights. Now, one player that really defines Arteta's Arsenal is Declan Rice. To see how this guy went from being a Chelsea reject to one of the best midfielders in the world, you have to check out this video right here.